All right, so let's go ahead and get it started. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you're in here right now, make sure you leave a comment. Welcome back, everybody, to the Life of a Champ podcast, episode number 27. Can men and women be friends? This definitely is going to be an interesting podcast for today. And I just want to start off with just saying one of the reasons why I created this podcast is to have interesting conversations because that's something I love to do. And with having these conversations, it allows me to really develop my opinion and really stand on what I believe. Uh, and not only stand on what I believe, but also to inform. And I love how it also allows me to consider opposing views, and also allows me to not just come up with some bullshit and come up here and talk. It makes me have a stronger foundation in the things that I do believe in. So appreciate the platform, and I'm glad that I'm doing it. I'm glad I'm doing it. That's for sure. All right. So, like I said, if you're in here right now, appreciate you for stopping by. Make sure you leave a comments, just so I can see who's in here, and then we'll go ahead and get it rocking for today. Right. So today's topic: Can men and women be friends? Right there. That's man. A lot of people have a lot of differing opinions when it comes down to this question, and the question that I always like to ask is, what is the definition of a friend to you? Because I feel like everyone has a different definition of what a friend is, and yeah, I would say that's kind of where we start. What it really is the definition of a friend to you? Um, and then just to answer the question, do I personally believe that men and women can be friends? I would say 95% of the time, no. 5% of the time, yes. Can it happen? Yes. And is there exceptions to the rule? Of course, just like with most things. But for the most part, no, they cannot be friends. It does not work out in the way that maybe, let's just say, let's just say two guys that were friends or two girls that were friends. It doesn't work out the same. Obviously, it's a different dynamic, and you have to take things like attraction into evolve in you have to take it into account. That's for sure. So, like I said, to answer the question, 95% of the time, definitely not. But 5% of the time, definitely, it can happen. It's very unlikely, though. It's very unlikely. And there either needs to be something that initiates the friend zone, if it even is that 5% that can exist, right? So, like I said, define what a friend is. I'll give you my personal definition of what a friend is. A friend to me is someone you can hang out with outside of obligation or set circumstance. So or like the set circumstance being like school, work, like friends of a friend, or yeah, pretty much. Let's just say you have somebody in a relationship that you're friends with, and you're friends with their partner. Um, like I said, I would say that's a set circumstance that isn't really you're being a friend. And one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to this question that I see is, like I said, people don't really understand what a friend is, and they also conflate a friend with being friendly. And I feel like in a lot of cases you are being friendly, but when it comes down to it, you wouldn't hang out with this friend outside of that circumstance. So therefore, like I said, you are just being friendly, and that is not your friend. And I feel like I see this more commonly with women. Through I've asked this question, like I said, through my own personal lens. I've asked women this question, and a lot of the things that would define what a friend is, like I said, it's very like very fluid. It's not really um someone they would want to hang out with. So it's just somebody they're going to be friendly with, which, like I said, obviously that defeats the purpose of calling it a friend. It's just a friendly acquaintance, an acquaintance that, like I said, if the sad circumstance wasn't there, you're not choosing to hang out with them. So um, yeah, what I will say is, I'll get into that. Like I said, if you're in here right now, I appreciate you for stopping by. Make sure you leave a comment. Um, but yeah, I think this is my other definition for a friend is, yeah, like I said, someone you care about enough to spend your free time with and to hang out with this person with no underlying uncommunicated motives. That's for sure. And I feel like you see that a whole lot when it comes to, let's just say, men being in the friend zone. You see that a whole lot, where those men for the most part, like I said, if you're an attractive woman and you're friends with a man, most men that are going to be friends with you are just going to be opportunists. And I've also talked to a lot of women that don't like to hear that and are even okay with that, which I think is ridiculous because you are almost leading somebody on, and that's not okay, in my opinion. It's not okay to lead somebody on, especially when you have no intentions and you're yeah, like I said, you're just pretty much just leading them on, and they think that this situation could potentially turn out one way when in reality it definitely will not turn out that way. So, like I said, those a lot of men and women friendships comes with the underlying motives, which, like I said, in turn does not work in my opinion. So it falls within the 95%. But yeah, for my personal opinion, a man should only be friends with a woman when he gets when he gets his desired expectation out of the interaction, with also bringing value to her life as well. So let's just say, for example, right, he's looking for a relationship or he's looking for, I don't know, a sexual partner, right, and he's not getting that out of that woman. Then I think that he is better off not being friends with a woman. And if you want to find something more in common with that person that actually is going to be a friend, in my opinion, just go ahead and find it with a man. You have more in common with that man, anyways, and there's more conversation that could be had with a man. So that's just my personal opinion. Um, and then for women, I think this also needs to take into account the friendships that you have with guys. They should be thoroughly analyzed for the motives of the guy. What are their intentions? And I feel like that's something that should be assessed very very early on, so there is a boundary. And I feel like women can sometimes tell when a guy is attracted to them in that way, but they just string them along still because they like the attention. Maybe he pays for something. Maybe, like I said, just taking advantage of him, in my opinion. Um, when, like I said, he has an underlying motive. She can. I feel like for the most part, a lot of women can sense this, and some are just in denial of it actually being a friend, or them actually just wanting to be friendly with that person, right? So, like I said, a lot of men are opportunists, and I wouldn't consider that to be your friend. A lot of men, in my opinion, I would consider these simps. They settle for being your friend in hopes that one day, um, one day they'll get lucky. I don't know. I don't know, but it's definitely not the route chosen by me personally, and it's definitely not the route that I recommend to anybody. Just because it's not it's not as fulfilling of a friendship, especially if that's what that actually is. Then it should be, I guess. But yeah, just to reiterate, because I see I got some new people in here. If you're in here right now, I appreciate it for stopping by. Make sure you leave a comment. But yeah, topic for today: can men and women be friends? To answer the question, 95% of the time, in my opinion, it cannot happen. There's a 5% of the time that it can happen, um, but there's certain situations in where it can happen. But like I said, for the most part, it doesn't happen very often. One question that you have to ask yourself within this is also, what do you define as a friend? I feel like a lot of people don't even have their own definition of what a friend is. And I'll go ahead and give you my definition, and maybe you can make your definition based off of my definition, right? So, my definition of a friend is somebody you hang out with outside of obligation or set circumstance where you genuinely want to hang out with them and spend your free time hanging out with them. And there isn't any underlying or uncommunicated motives between you guys. It's just upfront. Hey, I want to be your friend. I want you to be my friend, and we're just going to be friends. That doesn't happen very often. A lot of interactions go uncommunicated, and like I said, the guy has an intention, like I said, or a hidden motive, um, and he's just hoping one day, that woman's gonna let him have the opportunity to express what he truly wants out of that interaction. Which, like I said, for the most part, that's just how men think through my observations and through the observations that I've seen that play out through other men. For the most part, men do not want to be your friends, and they get put into that uh, friend zone, and they stay in that friend zone for whatever reason. Um, which I think, like I said, in my opinion, that's foolish. In my opinion, but you do what you got to do. Do whatever makes you happy. But like I said, in my opinion, for the most part, guys are not satisfied with just being friends with a woman, especially the woman they find it that are attractive. Okay, so like I said, define your definition of a friend, and like I said, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, for the most part, there is a kind of a wishy-washy, conflated definition of what a friend is. A lot of people they conflate being friendly with being a friend, and that is not the same thing. You can be friendly with a stranger, but you wouldn't consider that to be your friend, and it's just as simple as that. I wouldn't define somebody I'm being friendly with, whether we see each other a few times or whether we don't. I wouldn't consider them a friend. I would consider them more of a friendly acquaintance, which is okay. That's okay. But like I said, make it very clear of that it's not a friend. So don't think it is a friend. And if you want to be friends with that person, go ahead and be friends with that person. But don't if you don't have to, if you don't want to, obviously. So yeah, like I said, a friend to me, someone outside of obligation and set circumstance. So I see a lot of people saying, "Hey, I'm friends with my friend's girlfriend or friend's boyfriend." Right? Is that really a friend? Like I said, it's within set circumstance, right? So let's just say they break up. Are you gonna be friends with them? Are you gonna be friendly with them? Probably still gonna be friendly with them. But are you going to be friends with them? Hang out with them one on one? Probably not. If your foundation of friendship exists, and like I said, you pay attention to the girl code or the bro code, then hopefully not. You're not going to be friends with this person because that's just that. In my opinion, that's not cool. That's some slimy. That's some slimy behavior. So yeah. All right. I'll give you 1 second. All right. Very very good. So going back to what I was saying, in my opinion, a man shouldn't be friends with a woman if he's not getting the desired outcome that he expects within the interaction. Um, a lot of men are convinced that they can somehow, some way, even through a friend zone, have an interaction that is desirable in their eyes with a woman that does not see them the same way. And that's like I said, the reason I think it's foolish is because I think you're holding on to false hope. You're holding on to the potential that maybe one day she might see you a different way. When if she's attracted to you, she's gonna tell you she's attracted, or not tell you, but you're gonna be able to notice that she's attracted to you. And if she's not attracted to you, cut your losses. Go find a woman that is attracted to you. Don't, in my opinion, like I said, when it comes to that, don't spend your time on women that are not attracted to you. It's especially if you're attracted to them. The dynamic's always going to be slightly off, and through my observations, she's going to, for the most part, use you in some type of way, whether it's using your time, attention, resources, validation, whatever it is. She's going to use you in some type of way, and if you don't want to be used, then like I said, get the hell out of there because you definitely, probably for the most part, are going to be used in some type of way, and you're not going to be used for the situations which are desirable to you. Um, like I said, for the most part, men are just strung along and are nothing but opportunists in that interaction, which is not a healthy dynamic, especially if that's not what you expect out of the interaction. I want to really want to hit that home, and like I said, when it comes to a girl wanting to be friends friends with a guy, you want to really evaluate his motives. What are if he has any hidden sexual motives, then well, you can kind of do with what you would like with that, right? So if you want to be friends with that person and you want to make it very, very clear that you're just trying to be friends with them, then obviously you can do that. But like I said, if you want to go ahead and you know initiate that a little bit more than just friends, then you can go ahead and do that as well. But like I said, that is something that I would say you need to make very, very clear with probably within the first 3 or 4 interactions. And this also goes with guys. Like, I don't understand how you can't tell if a girl's attracted to you or not. I a lot of men. Well, I guess I can kind of understand it. A lot of men are definitely socially. They're not socially calibrated in the ways that they should be, and that in turn leads to, like I said, false hope. And oh, maybe one day she is. No, no. For the most part, like I said, I would say 98% of those times, 98% of those times, yeah, they're not going to ever switch up ever. And like I said, you're just hoping at this point with false hope. Um, like I said, evaluate the motives, and yeah, pretty much just evaluate the motives. And if he wants to be a friend, and you're gonna friend zoning him, then that's on him at that point. He has no right to get mad. He has no right to, well, honestly, he has no right to keep trying, especially if you make it clear. But still, some guys do, which I definitely don't understand. And if you see yourself constantly pursuing a woman who puts you in the friend zone, what are you doing? Appreciate it. Appreciate you for stopping by. I'm pretty sure we had a conversation about this before, but yeah, definitely a lot of people need to hear this. Men, for the most part, are opportunists, and women, for the most part, are just friend zoning those opportunists. And I personally would not spend my time, attention, and resources on a woman unless she's giving, unless I'm giving to that interaction and she's also giving into the interaction in the ways that in which I would like, whatever that is, contributing to, I don't know, maybe a relationship, maybe it's just a sexual interaction, whatever it is if she's not contributing to the type of interaction that I would like, then there's no point of having the interaction. And if I wanted to be a friend, if I wanted to have a friend, I would much rather have a friend that's a guy, because at the end of the day, we're going to have more in common, and the conversation is probably going to be better anyways. So that's just my observations, right? So yeah, I'm kind of repeating the same things, but I do see some new people coming in here, so I definitely want to communicate the message thoroughly. Um, One thing I will say is, what I did mention at the beginning of the podcast, we have new logos, and by the next podcast, I'm going to have a new layout based off of that logo. So that is something that's interesting. I just got the logo finalized today, which I was pretty satisfied with the results of the logo. Thankfully, I think her name's Emily. If you want to know the person that did the logo, um, I can go ahead and send you the link. Just make sure you go ahead and send me a text, and I can get you in contact with that person if you do want to have a logo yourself that's designed by her. Yeah, she definitely has some great work. Definitely very, very talented. Um, Very cooperative when it comes to getting the ideal look uh, for the logo. So she definitely is somebody I would recommend to go to if you are looking into a logo and you want it to look similar to the type of material that she produces. So shout out to her. And like I said, new layouts coming soon. I do have some new sound effects. I added, I think, was it like 10 sound effects. So when I see the opportunity to use them, I definitely will. But we definitely added some more, and that's also interesting. Another thing which I think is also interesting as well, I just learned how to do the edits for shorts and TikToks. Those will be coming soon. Hopefully, I want to roll out maybe like 5 or 6 by the beginning of next month. Um, just whenever I have time to actually sit down and do a day strictly for the podcast, because like I don't know if you know this, but I also have another YouTube channel which I just started called Evolve to Inspire. Shout out to Evolve to Inspire right over here. I'll make sure I'll leave that in the link if you do want to check that out. Just posted my first video on that. I want to say a few days ago. Today's maybe like 3 or 4 days ago. So if you want to get to know me and know what my purpose is, in a way that is definitely communicated through that, make sure you stay tuned in for that. What's up, D? Appreciate you for stopping by, my dog. Today's topic: can men and women be friends? And I'm pretty sure I've had this conversation with you before. 95% of the time, men and women cannot be friends. There's 5% where they can be friends, and of course, there's a lot of these certain scenarios that somebody come up with. If she is lesbian, or oh yeah, if he's gay. Of course, those kind of fall into those categories of the 5%, the very, very unlikely scenarios. But if they exist, then that would fall into that 5%. And of course, there's other situations. Um, Most definitely, my boy. Yeah, I'm sure you agree with that. But going back to what I was saying, define what a friend is as well. And I feel like people have this wishy-washy definition of what a friend actually is, and they conflate being friendly with being a friend, and that's not the same thing. You can be friendly with strangers, but you're not going to define them as your friend, and it's as simple as that. So my definition of a friend is somebody you can hang out with outside of obligation and circumstance that you genuinely want to spend your time with. And for the most part, um, yeah, I got to ride and go. But yeah, I appreciate you for stopping by, my dog. Make sure you leave a like. But yeah, if you're watching this and you like the content that I'm producing, make sure you leave a like as well as subscribe, and also hit the post notification bell so you can go ahead and see when I'm going live. To the gym, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Yeah, go ahead and get your gains. Go ahead and get your gains, man. I appreciate you for stopping by and supporting. All right. Yeah, so be clear with your definition of what a friend is, and um, yeah, if you're willing to spend time with that person outside of your free time, or in your free time rather, and outside of set circumstances, then of course that is a friend. Um, but yeah, I would, and I've like I mentioned earlier, if you are a woman and you are convinced that somebody is your friend, like I said, question their motives. Even I would say honestly, if you already made it clear that you want to be friends, I would still test them. I would still test him in some regard, because at the end of the day, in my opinion, he shouldn't be friends with you if he wants for more than a friendship. Um, like I would honestly just test him, because at the end of the day, he's making a damn fool of himself, in my opinion. So there's certain ways to do it. But yeah, I would. You definitely have to ask him questions, and for the most part, women also know when a man is attracted to them. I would say it's very hard for a man to conceal that early on, especially if he's highly attracted to this woman. It's definitely hard to conceal. But let's just say you have a man where you're questioning whether he actually likes you or whether he doesn't like you. Start asking some questions, and like I said, make sure you test it out. And for the most part, if you're an attractive woman, he's probably going to be attracted to you. And if he's accepting in the friend zone, then he probably has some hidden motives. Evaluate those motives, like I said, and then do with what you would like with the motives. If he does have them or if he doesn't have them, do in what you would like. Um, but yeah, don't ever conflate friendly and friends. It's not the same thing. Definitely not the same thing. I keep saying that. I keep repeating the same things because it's not the same thing. And like I said, I just see so many people thinking that they're friends with people when they're not even really friends. It is just a mere acquaintance that you have in set circumstance, like like I said, work, school, and somebody in a relationship. Um, yeah, maybe they're a part of your friend group, but there's people that can be in your friend group that you could just be friendly with as well. You would never choose to hang out with that person individually, so I wouldn't consider that your friend, and that is okay. And some people actually take that to heart, and they're like, "Oh my god, no, he's actually my friend." Like, relax. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. If you're friendly with somebody, that's okay. Just be honest with yourself that that's not your friend. Like I said, be clear with the definition, because, like I said, the definition is just very unclear at times. And like I mentioned earlier, if you're a man and you want to be more than friends with a woman and she's keeping you in the friend zone, get the hell out of there. Because, in my opinion, you are likely to get used in ways in which she's going to lead you on. Like I said, maybe that's going to be using you as a dinner date. Maybe she even let you take you on a date, thinking that she's actually interested, but she just wants some food because she's hungry, which I see happen very, very often within society nowadays. You see some women that take advantage of men in those ways, and ultimately, I can't even blame the women in that regard. I'm blaming the damn men, because if you're not socially calibrated enough to know if a woman likes you or not, then you deserve to get burnt, and you deserve to learn your lesson the damn hard way, because you earned it at this point. Yeah, man. No words for those. No words for those, Ben. Make sure you put. Make sure if you were watching this, make sure you put an L in the chat for those Ben that think they actually have a chance when in reality they don't. Make sure you leave it down in the chat for that because them boys down bad, bad as it gets. That's for sure. I need to put that. I need to put that in the damn soundboard, which I didn't do. Let me see if I can use some of these new ones. Right here, right here. Should you be friends with a woman if you want more than to be friends with her, and she's keeping you in the friend zone? Nope. This one right here. Draymond Green right here. Nope. Shouldn't do it ever. You shouldn't ever do it. I would give her some time. Give her some time. Maybe she'll open up to you. Um, but maybe she won't. And if she doesn't, you gotta keep it pushing, big fella. You gotta keep it pushing because hey, there's gonna be plenty of women out there that find you as attractive. Only spend your time. Women's right was a mistake. Man, what the hell? Make woman feminine again. You know what? I agree with that. I actually agree with that. Um, that is controversial. That is controversial nowadays. I don't know about was a mistake. That's for damn sure. I don't believe that shit at all. Should women be feminine again? In my opinion, of course. What a comment. Who actually is that? Tell me your name. If I actually know you, tell me your name. If I don't know you, then I don't know you. But you wilding the hell out for making that account, man. You wilding the hell out. And I'm gonna assume that's obviously probably a dude. There's no way that's a woman. So appreciate you for stopping by. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. And love to see. I would say I'd love to see you in here. I love to see the support. Yeah, make women feminine again. Maybe one of these days they will learn to be more feminine because that's genuinely what men want. For the most part, like I said, I'm not gonna say all men want this. Most men want it, but yeah, wilding the hell out though. Wilding the hell out with that damn name. No way in hell. Was a mistake, dude. You are on some shit, boy. You on some shit, that's for sure. Man. But going back to what I was saying, like I said, can men and women be friends? To answer the question, I'm gonna give you one definitive answer. No. No, they cannot be friends. But there's exceptions to the rule. That's how you gotta answer that. And a lot of these questions that I'm asking cannot be as definitive as yes or no. Of course, um there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. Like I mentioned, there's always going to be people that are going to be the outliers. And but if I had to give you one answer, it's going to be a no. Because for the most part, like I said, men want more than a friendship, and women are not willing to offer more than a friendship. And some men are okay with it. Bulls will just subscribe. I appreciate you for subscribing. I don't know your actual name, and I don't know why there's a little dinosaur on the screen. But I appreciate you for subscribing. Make sure you leave a comment, just so I can see who that is. If I personally know you, make sure you leave a comment saying I'm Blake. But I appreciate you for subscribing. Also, just to let you know, we got a new logo. We got a new logo that was made for us today, finalized today. We're gonna have new layouts coming very, very soon, as well as we're going to have TikToks, shorts, reels, and all that fun stuff. We're going to have that in play by the beginning of next month. I just learned how to edit that, so I'm still trying to get my editing skills down. But for the most part, I do have some clips in mind. And if you're rewatching this and you had any specific clips that you enjoyed throughout watching this podcast, make sure you leave a timestamp for that specific podcast, and I will go ahead and um, make a note of that, and I can definitely do that. What's good, my boy? Appreciate the love for the logo. I appreciate the love. Um, yeah. Also, if you're in here right now, man, I want to know your opinion on the question: Can men and women be friends? And also, don't confuse, because I mentioned this very, very thoroughly throughout the podcast. Don't get confused with friend and friendly. That's not the same. That's not the same thing at all. A lot of people are friendly with people, but they shouldn't consider them their friends because they're just being friendly. And I see that happen way, way too often, and that's not the case. Not the case at all. Like I said, friend to me, somebody you hang out with outside of said circumstance. And this is not even something that I've heard before, by the way. This is something I came up with by myself. A friend is someone you can hang out with outside of set circumstance, or there's like an obligation there. So, like I said, maybe you have a friend who has a girlfriend, right? You're not really friends with her. You can be friendly with her, but you're not gonna hang out with her alone without your boy. And if you do, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. I don't even know if I have a sound effect for that. Well, actually, you shouldn't be doing that shit at all. Let's keep it 1,000 with you. There's no way. You slimy. Don't move slimy out here. 2022. It's 2022. You should never move slimy. Never move slimy like that ever. Respect the bro code. Respect the girl code. I'm pretty sure they have that as well. Respect the girl code. Um, and the second you don't, karma should be on your ass. You deserve that shit. You deserve everything coming to you after that point. That's for damn sure. I'm trying to read. I'm trying to read my. Appreciate you for stopping by. Make sure you go ahead and leave a comment if you're in here. Topic for today: can men and women be friends? To give you the short answer, no. To give you the longer answer, no. But there's exceptions to the rule. Give me 1 second. I want to play one of our new sound effects. Oh, this right here.
What do you mean by that?
I shout out to Drewski as well. Shout out to Drewski as well. We got him on the soundboard. We got him on the soundboard, and also I got Dave Chappelle on the soundboard. Which, like I said, if I find the right time, I'll go ahead and play the Dave Chappelle sound effects. But I definitely added two, my favorite comedian of all time, and I also added J Cole one, and I also added shout out to Rick Ross.
Huh.
Shout out to Rick Ross. I had to add the fucking come on now the hump classic. I had to. Uh, but yeah, appreciate you for stopping by. Make sure you leave a comment if you are in here. I'm going to end the podcast off at about 25 minutes. So if you have any specific input with the podcast for today, make sure you go ahead and leave a comment. So just reiterating over things that I already mentioned. Um, Men and women cannot be friends for the most part. There's very, very small percentage of interactions that actually lead into a actual friendship. Um, you got to also define what a friend is. Like I had already reiterated a few times now. Be clear with your definition of a friend, and make sure there is no underlying or uncommunicated motives that lie, because that's definitely not healthy for an interaction to have some type of like almost like a game going on, honestly. And if you're a guy and you want to be more than friends with a woman, and she's keeping you in the friend zone, get the hell out of there because you're a damn fool for even staying in that interaction, especially if that's not what you would like. And if you're a woman, you should definitely, and you see people or men being your friends, I would say test them and question their motives, right? And be very, very clear. Hey, do you really want to be friends with me? Or are you just trying to sleep with me? Or do you actually want a relationship with me? I feel like that should be something that is clear within the first maybe 3 or 4 interactions. That should be something that's very, very conscious within the interaction. That should be something that 100% should be communicated. Because if it's not, it leads to a lot of resentment, honestly, especially on the dude's end, which a lot of dudes they have that built up resentment, and it's unhealthy because then you got dudes that are cursing a woman's name because they just put themselves in the damn friend zone. But that's their problem to deal with, not mine. But I'm trying to help you guys out. Like I said, man, if you're not getting the intended result that you are expecting in interaction, get the hell out of there and find a woman that finds you attractive, that you could actually either pursue a relationship or pursue a sexual interaction with if that's what you're looking for. But at the end of the day, do what's best for you, move what's best for you, and I feel like that kind of goes hand in hand with men and women. Um, if a man is, and like I said, I'll speak for women. I'm speaking to women right now. If you are if you have communicated with a guy that you know still is trying to have a chance with you, make sure you take advantage of that guy because he needs to learn his lesson the damn hard way. Obviously, you told him you don't want to be friends with him, but or you want to be friends with him and that's it. And if he's pursuing anything more than that, make sure you take advantage of him. Input on friends with benefits. My dog, come on now. Hey, come on now. That ain't the same thing. That ain't the same. Appreciate you for stopping by, Hector. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Input on friends with benefits. Yeah, for sure. Like in my opinion, I think everybody should be pursuing a relationship. But friends with benefits, you got to start somewhere, right? You're pretty much. If you're pursuing a relationship in the beginning, you're probably going to be friends with benefits. Are you saying? What's good, Ethan? I appreciate you for stopping by, my dog. Input on what do you mean input on friends with benefits? It's cool. It's cool, I guess. Like I said, in my opinion, I'd much rather be pursuing something that's going to be pursuing a relationship, and that just happens to be one of the things that goes hand in hand with that. Um, like I said, for me personally, I'm not going to be friends with a girl unless I'm pursuing a relationship with this woman. That's a great way to answer that. I got you. Appreciate it for stopping by, my dog. Um, but yeah, going back to what I was saying, can men and women be friends? 95% of the time, they cannot be friends. 5% of the time, they can be friends. Um, you got to be clear with what you define as a friend. Like I said, a lot of people have this wishy-washy definition of what a friend is, when in reality, um, you're just being friendly with that person. Don't conflate friendly or friendliness with being a friend. It is not the same thing, and it will never be the same thing. But make sure you get that very, very much communicated. All right, and also, like I had mentioned, if you're a guy, and I really need to hit this home because I know a lot of guys watch this podcast. If you're a guy and you want more than just a friendship with a woman, make sure you have that communicated so you guys both are on the same page and both understand the motives. And if you have any underlying motives, it probably is going to lead to resentment, especially if she doesn't give you what you are looking for. And like I said, go ahead and move on. Don't get used and abused by these women out here because they got plenty of other simps to go ahead and use and abuse. So if you're not getting what you would like, then go ahead and make your way out of the interaction and find a woman that finds you attractive, because there are going to be out there, and if there's none out there, then it looks like you got some work to do, big fella. Go ahead and put the work in, and maybe one of these days you can be attractive to some of these women. It comes down to that. And like I mentioned for women as well, and like I said, I want to give game to both men and women. I definitely don't think a guy hangs with a girl without having exactly. If my girl was hanging with some dudes, I'd be bugging thinking that they was exactly my point. So, which brings me to my next point, which I don't know if I was gonna get into it or not. So I'll give you my input on that, right? So, personally speaking, if you're watching this and I'm dating you, like I said, hit listen in right here, okay? I personally do not allow my girl or my girlfriend to be friends with guys. There's no great explanation for why you need to be friends with them. There's really you could and I've had conversations with women about this before. They cannot give me a great explanation of why they need to be friends with that dude. There's really here's the thing: if you're choosing me, if she's choosing you, then there should be no reason that she needs any other attention or validation or anything from any other guy, especially if you're giving it to her. And like I said, I feel like that jealousy that's an unnecessary thing in a relationship, and especially for example, right? If my girl is allowing me to have friends that are girls, you're doing it to yourself at that point. I don't allow myself because I personally, like I said, I only have friends that are girls if I'm pursuing a relationship, and if she allows me to have friends that are girls, then definitely she's doing it to herself at that fucking point. Thoughts on girls should have social media while in a relationship? That's a great one. It's okay. So maybe a few years ago, you could say, you know what, girls can't have if you want to be in a relationship with me, then you can't have social media. That's hard. That's definitely a hard sacrifice for most girls to make. But what I will say is this. Man, that's a tough one right there. What I will say is this: it depends the quality of man that you are. If you're a very high quality man, and if you're a high quality man in general, you're gonna have more leverage in life. Period. Can you convince a girl if you're a high quality man to get rid of social media? You can. That's what I will say. You have a lot more going for you. But if she's making the only exception where you can't take it away from her is if she's making money off of it. And I think it needs to be communicated. If you, I think it just needs to be communicated honestly between the interaction. If that's okay. If she hits you with the but I also want you to get off social media, then of course, and then she's keeping social media. If you're looking for a specific girl that doesn't have social media, you're looking for a diamond in the rough because majority of them are going to have social media. Now, it also depends on what she's posting on social media, and that kind of goes with your beliefs. I don't know what beliefs you got, but for me personally, if a girl's in a relationship with me, it is cheating. If you're posting super provocative pictures, it's cheating. You're looking you're looking for attention, and that's definitely not something that I should be. That's definitely not something that should be a part of the girl that I'm with. You shouldn't be looking for attention outside of mine. The only attention you should get from another man is either going to be from your brother or from your father, and that's it. That's as simple as that. But yeah, that's definitely a good one right there. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. If you're in here, make sure you leave a comment. I appreciate the good conversation. But going back to what Boozled said, um, yeah, I don't. And here's the thing: it's a respect thing, and I feel like girls always try to make a guy a victim in this regard. When it comes to, let's just say, oh, are you being insecure? Can I not really have? Can I not have guy friends? Are you being insecure? And I never think it's an insecurity thing. It's always a respect thing. If you have respect for me as a man, then you should be able to respect my wishes if you do want to be with me. It's as simple as that. And like I said, I will respect your boundary by also not being friends with women. And like I said, if you allow me to be friends with women, then that's on you. I think social media is fine as long as it is an inappropriate post. If she's posting things to attract other people, then I think it's not appropriate. I agree with you. A woman should never be marketing herself, especially when she's already sold with you. And it's interesting to put it in that type of way, but at the end of the day, it is marketing. You're looking for attention, and like I said, a lot of women will say, "Oh, I'm posting it for me." If she says I'm posting it for me, you got to hit her with this one right. Hold up, I got you, my dog.
Stop the cap.
It's cap. It's cap. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's for attention. And like I said, if it's okay. It's okay. That's not a ridiculous thing. If it's for attention, that's okay. Just say it is. Don't deny that it isn't. Or don't deny that it is rather. Because for the most part it is going to be for attention. Like I said, that's okay. Just make sure you be honest with yourself because a lot of women like to lie to themselves because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they lie to themselves, but it is what it is. Yeah, but I appreciate the comments. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Ethan had some good questions, man. That was a good question right there. But like I said, if you're an average dude, there's no way in hell that a girl, especially it'll take a very special girl, for her to compromise her social media for you. If you're just an average guy, and if you're watching this, and you're watching my other channel, I'm trying to make men that are a little bit more above average, so you can have more leverage when it comes to a relationship. Um, but yeah, if you're an average guy, there's no way in hell you're gonna even. It would take, like I said, you're a diamond in the rough that's going to actually not have social media for you. It also depends her values and how much she's willing to compromise. If she really thinks if you're an average guy and she really thinks that you are that guy, you might be able to get away with it. But if she doesn't, then you probably don't. You probably don't have a chance. But in my opinion, I think it's a ridiculous standard to have, and I think you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Like I said, especially if you're an average guy, and even if you're a high status dude, I feel like it's still a stretch. You're literally going to cut down your options probably in a third just by having that expectation or having that standard. Everybody's different. Everybody has their own personal standards and stuff like that. But I feel like in my opinion, you're doing a little too much right there. You're doing a little too much. You got too much dip on your chip at that point. All right. Yeah, it's pretty much how it goes right there. You got too much dip on your chip, fellas. You got too much dip on your chip, and that's okay. But going back to what I was saying, just since I had some new people in here, got to get a girl on the podcast for an episode like this, get a debate going. You're right. I've actually had two girls on. Technically, one was my sister and one was my sister's friend. We didn't actually get into conversations like that. But maybe one of these days I can. And I've been trying to have some girls on, but it doesn't usually go very well because it just doesn't go well. It's fine. But yeah, I'll hopefully have a girl here on soon that's willing to have these conversations because I have a ton of thought out, very, very thought out ideas. I'll say that very nicely. I have a lot of thought out ideas, and a lot of girls are not ready for this smoke. I'll tell you that, but that's for damn sure. But if they're ready for it, they're ready for it. But if they aren't, then you're probably gonna get embarrassed on here. And I'm not trying to embarrass you. you'll just not you will just will not have enough ammo, and it's as simple as that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a girl on the podcast. If you do recommend any specific girls that you want me to try to get on the podcast, make sure you go ahead and text me. I'm willing to have that conversation. I like to have great conversations, and I like to. I'm not exactly have debates. I like to have interesting conversations that have opposing views. I wouldn't call that a debate. It's just it's an interesting conversation. I'll say that at the very least. I appreciate you for texting me, by the way. All right. So going back over saying 95% of the time, it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to be friends with the opposite gender unless you are in one of the 5% category, which is very very select. Like I said, it doesn't happen very much, but it can happen. Like I said, I'm not going to cancel. I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen. It happens, but also don't conflate being friendly and being friends. It's not the same thing at all. Not the same thing at all. Would you consider and also I've been seeing people in relationships that take hug friends that are guys. Man, that's no way in hell. Personally, no way in hell. If you're my woman, you're not hugging any other guy. Why would you even touch any other guy? That makes no sense to me. If you're okay with that, man, boy. If you're okay with that, hey man, that's on you at that point, man. But for me personally, hey, I don't rock with that. I don't rock with that at all, man. That's not okay. And that's even a boundary that I don't even think really needs to be communicated. If I don't think it needs to be communicated. I just don't. I've had a few times where, let's just say the girl I was dating at the time is hugging a dude. I'm just sitting there like, bro, is this really fucking happening right now? Like, there's no way this shit's actually happening right now. This is not real life. And yeah, I think it's a bad look on you. It's a bad look. Um, you gotta have. I feel like the respect isn't there the way it needs to be, in my opinion. But that is just my opinion. But my girlfriend or the girl I'm talking to is not going to be hugging any other dudes because that's just goofy. That's goofy behavior, in my opinion. That's you got to get him out of here. You hit him with this.
Bruh.
Man, ain't no fucking way. No fucking way. If you see your boy, if you see your boy, if you see your boy's girl getting hugged by another dude,
Bruh.
ain't no fucking way, boy. You better get him. You better check your man. You better check your man for the one time because he needs to be checked. That's for sure. Yeah, it's like if you chill with that when you want to. Yeah, that's a little sus. Exactly, that's a little sus. That's a little sus behavior. We don't accept that slimy behavior over here. I told you that earlier on the podcast. Slimy behavior out here doesn't is not accepted. It's not accepted out here. Um, yeah. If you're chill with that, you know what? Like I said, to each their own. But from my personal example or from my personal relationship, that's not gonna be a thing, and that's okay. And like I said, if you're my woman, you should just be okay with that because if you see me hugging other girls, hey, there should be a damn red flag going off in your head if you see me hugging other girls. Simple. All right. Give me 1 second. I want to try out one of the new sound effects. Give me 1 second. What the fuck does that even say? Oh, no, my bad. Hey, if you see your boy, if you see if you were with a girl, right, and you see her hugging a guy, you should be like,
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
yeah, you fucked up right there. Honestly, you fucked up. Here's the thing: you need to have the solid foundation, very very communicated standards within a relationship. The expectations need to be very very thoroughly communicated, and if they're not, then that's going to lead to disappointment. That's going to lead to arguments. That's going to lead to uncomfortable situations for you. And the last thing you want to do is be uncomfortable in your own relationship. That's the farthest thing you're trying to do. But you still have to get over those. I don't know about throwing hands after that, but he just doesn't have the okay for me. He just doesn't have the respect for you. He just doesn't have the respect for you. And of course, that might be throwing hands worthy. But honestly, for me, I just don't. I don't think girls. A lot of girls are not worth throwing hands for. That's for damn sure. And the only reason I say that is because, um, like for example, right? If let's just say you're in a relationship, right, and the girl cheats on you, you can't go after that guy. Like what the fuck? You're stupid. You got to go after your girl. Not in any violent way, but you're the person. You can't control anyone else's behavior outside of your relationship. And if she is cheating, then you should have a problem with her and never have a problem with a guy because like I said, I think that's just moving goofy, in my opinion. Give me 1 second. Bro, I fucking had a feeling he was gonna say that, bro. Hold on, I'm texting Noah back. That's funny. That's funny that you say that. Hey Noah, hey Noah, hey, that's hilarious, my dog. If you think she hits him with a side hug, then you gotta play it cool. It's different if she runs. Obviously, you don't want your girl touching a dude. Yeah, and like I said, you gotta be able to know. You gotta know your own girl. Yeah, at the end of the day, you gotta know your own girl to see if she's, like I said, if she's giving the slightest inclination that she's acting a little sus, then yeah, check her for the one time, and she should check you for the one time if she sees you hugging girls and she don't like that shit. Goes both ways. It goes both ways. It doesn't just go one way. Um, Side hug. Yeah, you gotta play it cool. I agree with you. You gotta play it cool. But if it's anything more than that, boy, hey, no, hey, that's a red flag. But that's a red flag. Abort mission at that point. Abort mission at that point. All right. What the fuck does this even say? Give me a second. Nope. Got that Draymond. Hey, that's for you, Noah. That's for you, by the way. Had to add that. Had to add that Draymond for the one time. Shout out to the Warriors. The Warriors are doing good out here. Um, we can talk about that in another podcast, but yeah, the Warriors doing good out here. Also, girls also jump on people's backs. That's ridiculous. That's honestly that's some high school shit. That don't happen. That don't happen after high school. At least that shouldn't happen after high school. That's ridiculous. The last thing you want is another man picking up your woman. That's the last thing. That's a red flag, big fella. If your woman's getting picked up by another man, you better do something about that. You better do something about that. That should never happen ever. Um, if she wants to get picked up somebody, it should be you. And if you can't pick her up, then you better get your ass in the gym. It's as simple as that. But just to wrap it up, I'm going to end the podcast here in a second. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. But just to give you some final thoughts, can men and women be friends? 95% of the time, they cannot be friends. Um, but there's a 5% chance that it can happen, and can happen with no hidden motives or hidden agenda. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Exactly my point. That's the only time it's gonna happen. Um, Define what a friend is, right? Be very clear with the definition that you have as a friend, and make sure it doesn't conflate with just being friendly. In my opinion, through my opinion, a friend is somebody you can hang out with outside of obligation or set circumstance. So this is somebody you want to spend time with. This is somebody you genuinely want to spend time with. And for the most part, guys are usually going to have hidden motives. And if you're a girl, you gotta assess and evaluate the motives very, very early on, and make it clear that you want to be friends with him. That's the only way it'll exist. And if you're a guy and you find a girl attractive, of course, if you're a guy and you want to be friends with a girl, then that's on you. That's not the move that I would make personally, but that's on you. Um, Also, what I will say is, if you want more than a friendship with a girl, don't settle for the friend. Don't settle for the friend frame, because if you're friend zoned, it's hard to get out of the friend zone. It really is, because then you have to build attraction. If the attraction's not initially there, it's hard. Have a good night, bro. Yeah. Warriors getting. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Hey, appreciate you for stopping by, Noah. Appreciate the comments, my dog. Hope you have a good night, man. A lot of trust issues and rules. Like I said, I think, and I'll have a conversation with you after this podcast, Ethan. But make sure you have what you expect. You need to have some lists down. I have my list down personally. Should you reveal them always? Probably not. But you need to have your lists, and I'll make sure I'll get you right. I get you right. I get you right. Since you're in my personal life, I get you right. Um, but yeah, make sure that there's not no underlying motives or uncommunicated motives. Um, if you're a girl and if you're a guy, like I said, I wouldn't waste my time personally on a girl that it doesn't find me attractive. If you're just trying to have a relationship or have something more than a friendship, then either look for a girl. Well, no, just look for another girl. In my opinion, look for another girl. There's going to be plenty of girls that are going to find you attractive, and like I said, if no girl finds you attractive, then it looks like you got some work to put in, just like the rest of us. everybody should be putting in work always on themselves. Um, so make sure you have that. Make sure you have that. Make sure you're on the constant grind, because if you're not, then what are you doing realistically? Um, so yeah, that's how I'm gonna end the podcast off. I pretty much communicated all the things I would like to throughout this podcast. So if you appreciated this podcast, make sure you leave a like, as well as turn on the post notifications so you can see when I post new videos. And one piece of information I'm going to leave you guys off on today. Let me just go ahead and think of it real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch the rest of this game. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that game. It's gonna be pretty good. But one more piece of information that I'm gonna leave you guys off on is I think people should be more clear with their intentions. So if you are meeting somebody for the first time, I think your intentions should be very, very clear and very, very communicated early on. Um, that's what I think. That's what I think it is. That's what I'm gonna leave you guys off on. Don't don't leave it up to interpretation. If you expect something or want something in an interaction, make sure you make that very, very clear early on, so you don't get disappointed and the other person doesn't get disappointed. So that's what I'm gonna leave you guys off on. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. That was the Life of a Champ podcast, episode number 27. Can men and women be friends? Like I said, if you're rewatching this, make sure you leave a comment if you liked any parts. But other than that, I appreciate you guys and hope you guys have a great rest of your night.